Welcome to the Swisspreneur Show, a podcast about startup stories and hands-on learnings from experienced entrepreneurs. My name is Sylvan and I will be your host. Together with Startup Ticker, Switzerland's largest news portal for startups, Swisspreneur presents the Startup of the Week. For 10 consecutive weeks, we will portray a Swiss startup that is currently doing fundraising. Especially in times of COVID-19, we want to actively support startups and strengthen the ecosystem. Today we talk to Alex Tyropolis, the co-founder of Realbot Engineering. The startup creates robotics for real estate. With their inspection robot Sam, you can literally take a live tour of any apartment you are interested to rent or buy from any PC or smartphone and don't need to physically visit the place. We talk about their start, bootstrapping, valuation, and their biggest challenge so far. Let's get started. Alex, a very warm welcome to the Swisspreneur Show. It's a pleasure to have you here today.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. It's amazing that you're organizing stuff like this in this crisis.
Absolutely. So today we're going to talk about one of your startups, Realbot Engineer. And we want to know what motivated you to start your own company. Why did you start it?
Well, I already founded a real estate company in a more classic way a few years ago. And what I realized there is that just the whole process of letting or selling apartments is super inefficient, very time costly, and therefore very expensive, and also not a really user-friendly experience for people looking for real estate. So that was the point where I thought, hey, I already founded a company once, but we need a lot more efficiency. We need to boost technology. And that was when I came up with the idea for Realbot Engineering.
Awesome. So you basically saw that there's a problem that needs a better solution out there, right?
Exactly. As many founders before me did as well, right?
So another very important part of having and launching a startup is the team. Can you maybe talk a bit more who's behind it and what experience that you bring to the table?
Of course. In a robotics company as we are, the team is the core, and I'm super proud of it because it consists of one hardware engineer, George Georgatos, which has worked in aerospace industry for a long time and has a lot of knowledge with hardware. It's awesome. Daniel Velikovic, which is our head of software engineering, also a co-founder, and he has studied at ETH and worked in IT for a long time. And it's me, the decent sales guy, which has studied international business management in Berlin and Dubai, and now founded a real estate company in Switzerland and has his second more techie venture going on here. And I think this is great having such a team, but also was great luck that we found together. And I think this is thanks to the small ecosystem which is very close in Zurich.
Mm-hmm. It's the great setup where you say somebody needs to build it and somebody needs to sell it, right?
Exactly.
So that seems to be very applicable to your case. I'm also curious to learn more about the recent milestones that you achieved. Is there anything you can talk about there?
Yes, and a thing we think is amazing in our short company history is that we started with a very, very rough idea in spring, summer 2018, and we actually executed and went on the market by February 2019. Which is like super speed if you think that we had to like start from scratch and work on how could we have a robot do live viewings of real estate, right? This is a product which just does not exist. Of course, a lot of the technologies are off the shelf. You know, we didn't have to invent a camera, for example. But in the end, putting it together and making it work with a software which is stable enough to handle a big amount, this is something I'm very, very proud of, and this needed a lot of passion. A quick
question there. In what way has your recent experience, with your first company helped you to speed up that process and shorten the time to market?
For me, on one hand, the entrepreneurship side is known because it's plus minus the same whatever you do, whether you sell robots or shirts, But but what was very important was that not everything going wrong was the end of the world. So in my first company, I was shocked by everything which didn't go the way I wanted it to. And now having this experience, it made me calm down and have a more clear focused mind on, okay, that's the problem. We just have to change things and solve it without panicking and therefore taking wrong decisions, right? So this was, I think, the key learning in that.
Awesome. I think you also wanted to share another milestone that you recently achieved, and I
Yes.
interrupted you with the follow-up question.
So the first I'm very proud of is actually being able to start and be on the market already with less than a year of research and development. Of course, this is always an ongoing process. The second is that we have actually, conquered the market very fast with clients like BVK, with clients like wincasa testing and livit testing our product, with Engel Völkers, or Oliver Bader with Bader Immobilien in central Switzerland, Espas Real Estate. So many well-known clients which actually adapted and are not always the pioneers on the market, because we're not known for being the most innovative real estate industry in the world. So I'm very proud of being able to manage that, right?
Great. And how do you actually win over these well-known clients and reputable clients?
I think the most important is the case we have, like boosting efficiency in the letting or selling of real estate and generating a more natural and customer friendly user experience. This is the most important. So our product makes sense and everyone in the industry will understand that. The second was, of course, that's why I'm the sales guy. I have a good network in this industry, as I already am from working in this industry for a few years, and therefore I could really get access more easy than maybe a startup would if we just start fresh off university or something like that, right?
Got it. Yeah. And also an important topic at the moment is, of course, obviously the coronavirus. Is that a good or a bad thing for your company? Because you're sort of digitizing the whole process. So one could imagine that there's a bigger demand for your services. Otherwise, companies might also be more reluctant in, doing new investments and so forth. So is this a good or a bad thing for you?
To be honest, Corona is, in terms of our product, the best thing which could happen. Because we have a solution which, we did not design it for Corona, but Corona gives it the momentum of our company's lifetime so far. Because as in many digital aspects of companies, Corona has just boosted the process of digitalization. What before took years now within weeks happened, and therefore also the openness for having a robot working with humans in something you would never expect a robot to enter a market in our everyday lives. Not now, maybe in science fiction. This is something which helps us a lot, of course.
A quick question also on some market numbers. I'm not sure if you're open to share any, but is there like any metric or any numbers that you can also share, in terms of how many viewings that you did with your robots or anything of that sort?
What we're very proud of is that since last June, so June 2019, we have already had 15,000 minutes of viewings, which went over our robots. And this is somewhere between 3,000 and 4,000 single individuals having viewings with just not more than 20 robots we have on the market right now. So, for us, this is more than a proof of concept. We actually didn't expect people to adapt to, driving a robot themselves and looking at an apartment that easily and fast. But this is the handling of our robot, which is over the keyboard. It's super easy, and I think it just makes sense for the users as well, because they say we want an apartment now. We don't want to wait to have the viewing physically first, and then we want to view it now. We want to have an honest impression, no amazing pictures, and then we can decide whether we want to get the next step, the physical viewing, or if we rather look at another apartment, right? And so yeah, this worked out.
Pretty impressive numbers. It's
now
cool
we have
show.
to scale up. This is something as a test and proof of concept. It's great. We also don't have any capital from anyone. We're independent, but we're looking for funding now in order to scale up and really go big, because it's a nice story, as you say, but it's not finished here. We have a lot of visions to make reality, right?
Before we talk about the fundraising, I'm also interested in learning more about your competitive landscape. Are there any competitors, direct or indirect, that you actually compete with?
Happily, there are no direct competitors. There's no company in the world using a robot as we do right now. There are telepresence robots. Take care. This is something else. This is the technology of having a robot which streams something live. This does exist. We do not focus strongly on the hardware part. For us, it's the software which makes it possible to integrate robots, telepresence robots, into a vertical and make it work there. This is our core product, right? And there's no competitor yet, but this will come, of course, someday. On indirect competition, for sure, we have 360 degrees tours. You may have seen them. You can fly through apartments. But these are pictures. They're mostly taken when it's wonderful weather, when everything is great. You brighten them up on Photoshop, and the image you show is not reality. So you have a mismatch in expectation management when customers come to see the apartment online and see everything is great and bright, and then reality kicks in and they see it's an ugly, rainy day and the apartment doesn't look that nice. You have disappointment, and therefore, again, lose efficiency with that. And there Sam comes in and actually brings honesty and clarity, right?
Fantastic. And also, now looking back to your story, basically, what was the toughest challenge that you had to overcome with your company so far?
Well, living from bread and water, this was very hard. Our team is small, and we really didn't start with the easiest things as a small unfunded company, because we decided to do it on a bootstrap level in the beginning. This was really hard. And the other thing which is hard is, or always was hard and still stays hard, is of course you need to keep up with the speed, and you need then to somehow adapt your clients to it as well, because you come in, we have rolled so fast, and then our clients, they're sometimes a bit overwhelmed with the technology we bring in. So we have to somehow find out how to adapt this culture, which is not that digital yet, in the world of real estate, to actually using technology in their everyday life to make it easier, right?
Why did you actually decide to bootstrap the company in the first place? Because I can imagine, with low interest rates and so on, it might not be super difficult to close a seed financing round, for example.
Yes, this has maybe two sides. One side is that my other company I did is bootstrapped as well. And I'm an entrepreneur which likes to have a company which makes money from the beginning, instead of being dependent of many others giving money. So I wanted to be free to together with our team, to decide which direction we go and to test the market, without external pressure of people which might think that going another way is better for the beginning. Now we have the proof of concept, and now we thought this is the right moment, where we can really show to get into market and show a product which works and which has a future, instead of coming with a product on the paper and saying this will be done and then not having it. So get shit done first and then get funding. That's what we're thinking of, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's a good way of doing it, because to me, the most inspiring or also admiring entrepreneurs are the ones that actually get stuff done without external funding. So kudos for that.
Thank you.
You said you're now currently fundraising. So how much money are you actually looking for at the moment?
So we skipped a seed round and we're now hopping into Series A. Of course, we're still an early stage startup, but I think we have a lot of numbers which prove we are doing good and well. So now we're looking for 3.5 million, and we're happy to give away 25% of our shares. And this will enable us especially to create a product or finalize the product in a way that it's more scalable, and enable us to go international.
Awesome. Cool. Are you looking for Swiss investors or more international investors, or doesn't really matter?
We are open for that. Important is that it's smart money in the end. So money from investors which know what problem we are saving and which really understand this, and which also understand the importance of digital solutions in a future world, which just can save us millions of hours or maybe years of time for all of us humans, right? I mean, our goal is not to replace the human, but to let the humans do this work, in which they really can bring more quality, right? And not do the work which everyone could do or every robot could be doing as well.
So before we wrap up the episode, we have some rapid fire questions for you. And let's start with the first one right away. What was your summer job as a teenager?
Well, I was an apprentice, so I was working in real estate already, doing my KV, my apprenticeship. But after that, I was working for Apple in the store for a bit, next to my studies. And I was also selling beer for Heineken during weekends while creating my first company. So to somehow stay alive.
Awesome. That's the life of a bootstrapped entrepreneur, I guess.
Yes, that's true.
And what are you actually most proud of in your life?
The thing I'm most proud of right now is that I was brave enough to do it my way and to go in a direction which maybe, as a 20-something-year-old was not the most reasonable, with no money after studies, opening up a company when I could in Switzerland also work and get a good salary after studies. But still in the end, I'm living my visions, and this is what I'm really happy about, right?
Absolutely. I think you cannot really pay for that happiness that you get through doing what you really want.
Yes, and I took the risk from the beginning to say, even if it goes, bad, well, being privileged in a country like Switzerland to even be able to think like that, of course, because it's not about living under the bridge or succeeding, right? It's about getting a job somewhere and getting some money and surviving in any case, or doing your idea. So I think taking that into consideration, we should all take the risk and live the passion, right?
That's a very good call to action. So people take more risks.
Yeah, of course you have to put it in relation, not stupid risks. Okay, always think about it. But yeah, in the short, take more risks and live life, by doing it, right?
And the last one for you today, what's a surprising fact that people don't really know about you?
I can be very, very serious and not very fun sometimes. I think people which don't know me from work, they know me as a rather a bit chilled guy. But at work, things have to be done, and what we do can only be done if everyone is really working and focusing 200%. And if I feel that everyone in my team is fully committed, and if this seems to have a lack somewhere on quality, then it's not always fun, but I think it's fair.
Alex, that was a lot of fun. Thank you so much for taking the time. It was a pleasure to talk about your startup, and we wish you all the best and success for the future.
Thanks for having me, man.
Today's episode was brought to you by SBB Startup. If you think that your startup or your idea is a good fit to the Swiss Railways, get in touch with them at sbbstartup.com. It doesn't matter if you're an already established company or just have an idea, the dedicated team behind SBB Startup is here to help you and to evaluate the good fit to the Swiss Railways. In order to contact them, visit sbbstartup.com. Thank you very much for listening to today's episode. If you enjoyed the content, we would be thrilled to receive your rating on Apple Podcasts. That way you not only support Swisspreneur, but also help other entrepreneurs discovering the show and finding more valuable information on how to run their businesses. Next week, we will already be back with an all new episode of the Swisspreneur Show, so we hope to see you again then for a new episode.